today I thought I would do a chit chat get ready with me, which is kind of my wheelhouse lately. I've really enjoyed doing these videos. I have some new makeup, not a whole lot, but a little bit I want to try out on camera. There is a haul, like kind of an embarrassingly large collective fall beauty haul getting filmed today. So if you want to see everything that I picked up for fall this year, definitely stay tuned. That video either is already up or is going up next. I don't know. So today I want to talk to you guys about the fact that I'm trying to fall back in love with makeup again, which might sound pretty strange if you are new. But if you're not new, then you know that my channel originally started as a makeup channel. I am a professionally trained makeup artist and I've been to makeup school, I've done clients, I've done photo shoots, I've done print work, I've done all kinds of stuff. And the majority of my time on YouTube was spent doing makeup. I think until about late 2020 was when I started doing different types of, like, you might call it mindset shift videos or like motivational videos. I call it my high maintenance energy series. I was really enjoying doing that for a time. It felt like a really welcome reprieve for me because I, quite frankly, at that point, and maybe for quite some time prior to that, was really sick of makeup. Talking about makeup, thinking about it, buying it. I was sick of the way it was like taking over my space, just creating so much excess clutter in my life. It just had really run its course with me for quite some time there. And I kind of want to talk about like why I think that happened. The theme of this video, I think, is going to be like what happens when you lose your passion for something, how to get it back, should you want it back, like that's kind of where we're going today. So maybe it's not makeup for you, but perhaps you can gather something from this conversation either way. Today, I'm gonna test out the Huda Beauty Naughty Nude palette. I ordered this not too long ago. I have typically only been using single shadows from Makeup Geek and Viseart for a hot minute if it's not like my Charlotte Tilbury quads or my Tom Ford quads. I need to invest in more eyeshadow palettes that you guys could follow along with if you wanted to. So I am asking you guys to please let me know what eyeshadow palettes everyone is into right now. I have been looking around, and in fact, when I was doing all this makeup shopping, that was one of the things I was trying to do, was buy more palettes, and this is the only one that I bought because nothing was really interesting to me. I'm just still a single shadow girl. I feel like the big turnoff for me surrounding makeup, and not even makeup, I think it was more beauty content in general, started in 2018 and really kind of came to the forefront with my content circa 2019, because that's the year, some of you may know, that I did a lot of anti-haul content. In fact, tons of you guys still follow me from that period, have told me you missed that content, and I don't want to like bum you out or anything, but I can promise you I'll never go back. You know, I love doing the holiday gift set roundups, kind of what I think are good deals and what I think are not. I wouldn't mind doing anti-haul every once in a while, but in terms of just full-blown anti-consumerism content, I quit doing that for a reason. I mean, I started and stopped doing it for a reason, I guess you could say. The reason I started doing it was because I felt at the time, and this is a lot of my own fault, which we'll get into. Like, I take a lot of accountability and ownership for my own relationship with this stuff. But at the time in 2019, when I started creating that content, I just felt that the beauty community, the online beauty space had just become really negative. Again, I do blame myself for this. Like, I was seeking out negative content, although in my mind, I wasn't looking at it as negative content. I was looking at it as like, oh, well, these people are finally just telling the truth. So it was a lot of like gossip channels, drama channels. I was watching a lot of that at one point. I get embarrassed every time I make mention of that, don't get me wrong, but it's true. It is what it is. I think I was kind of gravitating towards watching that kind of content because I was bored with the beauty community and with creating beauty content. And I think that it's like one of those misery loves company things. It's kind of one of the reasons I always tell you guys to pay attention to what you're consuming online. It's a big reason why I'm very anti-drama channel, anti-negative content on YouTube, because I think it does affect you, especially when it's like the only thing you're watching. When you overdo it, I think it trains your brain or wires you to just look for things wrong with everything, especially the more you do it. And it does not help that YouTube just really favors this. The algorithm loves it. People just love negative shit talking content. They do. And like I said, I did that for like a full year. So I can tell you, people do love it. If you want to blow up on YouTube, that's really all you have to do is talk shit about something. So it was like, I went to makeup school and all that stuff because I loved makeup and beauty for as long as I can remember, like literally my whole life. I love the artistry of it. I love putting makeup on other people. I love the collaborative process of, working with photographers and designers and with the models. Like, that was super fun to me. And when I went full time on YouTube, which was in 2018, I kind of had like a rude awakening about what was going to perform well on YouTube, what people wanted to see, the types of creators that were doing really well. I just felt really bored and annoyed with all of it, especially because you have to remember around this time, and for all I know, it's still the case. I'll get into how out of the loop I am beauty content wise in a moment, but let's just say that at the time, circa, like I said, 2018, 19, it felt like that was really the saturation point for beauty launches. Like, everybody had a brand, everybody had a collab. It felt like a new collection was coming out literally every day. I think one of my anti-haul videos, I made it a point to count how many of them came out at one point, and it was like over 100. And it kind of felt like the only thing you could do on YouTube was just collect and hoard all of this makeup and talk about it. Like, every video at one point felt like it was nothing but a collection review, which I understand why that is helpful to some people. Like, obviously you want to know if a product is worth a crap before you buy it. But for me, when it comes to makeup, I tend to just like, and again, I'm a professional makeup artist. I've been messing with makeup for over a decade now. I can just look at something and tell if I'm going to like it or not. So for me, it's like, I don't really need all these reviews and stuff, because I just, for some reason, I don't know how to explain it, I just know if I'm going to like something or not. I just felt like that's all the content that was coming out. I felt like that was all people wanted to see. And it just felt so boring to me at the time. Like, I was bored to tears with it. And maybe feeling a little resentful of the fact that I, in my own head, like just getting high off my own supply, thinking like, why don't people want to, watch me? Because I actually know what I'm talking about and I'm not just talking about product. Like, being such a shithead, just totally making myself a victim in the scenario. And I have said before, and I definitely mean it when I say this, that as far as makeup is concerned, makeup specifically, I don't necessarily feel this way about hair, body care, skin care, but when it comes to makeup, I do feel that, especially then, and still now a little bit, that product is just so the least interesting part of it. And I don't know, I guess I was just in this rebellious spirit where I was like, I'm sick of talking about it, I'm sick of seeing it, and this was all something I chose to do. I chose to expose myself to content that didn't make me feel good. It's a big part of like why I'm telling you guys to be aware of what your relationship with content is, because if you walk around cheesed off all day about stuff that you're seeing on social media, like, stop looking at it. It's so bad for your mental health. I have this Kat Von D or KVD Beauty Dazzle Stick. I picked up a few of these the other day because I just could not get over how friggin' beautiful. As I just say, product is boring. I'm like, look how gorgeous. But isn't this just stunning? Oh my freaking God. Hello, gorgeous. Wow, this is beautiful. I bought like 3 of these. I might go back and get whatever's left of this collection, because this formula is stunning. Cheese and rice. So before I turned the camera on, I primed my skin using the Bobbi Brown Vitamin Enriched Face Base, and I'm actually going to take a little bit of this MAC Studio Fix Mattifying 12-Hour Shine Control Primer, just because I feel like it. I really don't use primers anymore. I feel, and this is probably going to get me in hot water, kind of feel like if you find the right foundation for you, and the right skincare routine, you don't really need them as much. I feel like primers are like band-aids, but I do feel like I have a little bit of texture right here I want to cover up. Also, my skin is in a lot better place than it's been pretty much all year, except Aunt Flo is coming to town. Like, she has RSVP'd, she is on the way, and like I have this like cluster of breakouts getting ready to like come to the surface on my chin right here. It's gonna be big. Like, smaller zits are gonna come and orbit around what is like currently brewing on my chin area. For foundation, actually, let me just do an under eye correction too, because I'm using like purples, and I feel like when you're using purples, especially not like vibrant grape juicy purples, it can look a little bit like you have dark circles. Also, my butt is like sitting in this chair so funny that every time I move, you can hear like, I just want to say that's the chair. It's not, I'm not Putin, okay? I'm not Putin. I'm going to use the Charlotte Tilbury Under Eye Corrector and the number 2 medium. So I guess what I'm trying to get at is that I feel on some level, well, not even on some level, I know I am responsible ultimately for my disillusionment surrounding makeup beauty, this thing that I once loved. And that's kind of what got me thinking, like, what do you do when you fall out of love or lose your passion for something? And I'm just a super analytical person. Like, nothing can happen around me without me being like, must figure it out, must dissect this. So I have been like thinking and meditating on this lately. I do know that a few weeks ago, I sat down to film a Chit Chat Get Ready With Me video. And much like I feel today, even as I was getting ready to film, I felt so excited to do this. And that's only interesting because I have just not felt that way about content creation in such a long time. It really does make me think, and if you guys have been following me for a while, you already know all about this. I had some mental health issues last year that were pretty intense, and I had to get on some meds. And as I've mentioned, one of the meds I recently got off of, and ever since I got off of it, I feel like a different person. I feel like myself again. So I'm wondering if that's part of it. If like my brain just feels good right now, and that is why I feel inspired and interested and motivated and curious and all that kind of stuff surrounding beauty and makeup content in general, or beauty content in general, I should say, because I also have mentioned many times on my channel that I don't watch or consume any beauty content. And again, I think that's because I just had a salty, bad attitude. Like, I just was being like a hater. I was being a little baby hater. And I think it can be hard to be real with yourself and kind of be like, wow, I'm really doing this to myself. Because when I first got into makeup, as far as like started doing professional makeup, started even getting ready to do professional makeup, when I could really dedicate all of my time to makeup, that was something I had wanted my whole freaking life. Like, I'm the only person I know in my life who is like I am, like a total beauty nerd, beauty junkie. I've always been that way as well. Like, I used to literally get to school in the morning and curl my hair in the bathroom every day because the humidity in Georgia used to make my curls fall and I just couldn't have it. Every time we would get ready to have like period changes, you know, from first period to second period, I would have to get out my makeup and like touch up my makeup. I just enjoy the process of beauty, and I think it's so transformative and fun and creative, and it's, I don't know, something I've always loved. And I think that when you get older, you kind of, first of all, if you're lucky, you kind of get over your own bullshit. Not easy to do. Throughout the past 4 years or so that I've been in therapy off and on, really working on my mental health, I've had to get real about other people's role in my life. And, you know, part of understanding boundaries is realizing where you start and where other people start. In other words, what you're actually responsible for versus what you're not. And it took me a long time to like release a lot of the blame, I guess, I put on myself for other people's behavior. It was so weird. It was like I could find a way to blame myself for certain things, but other things I just could not take responsibility for, clearly. And I think one of those was the fact that I could sit here all day and be like, oh, I think makeup is, it's getting boring. It's not as interesting as it used to be. It's super consumer driven. But I would sit there and watch and follow and read comment sections and just choose to make this thing that I used to love not fun anymore. And to be fair, anytime you take something that you love, whether you're a musician, a writer, a chef, whatever it is you love to do, the minute it becomes a job, that does take just a little bit of the joy out of it. Because, when you're creating content, and this is part of what makes being a content creator so difficult, is you're constantly having to chase trends, chase algorithms. There's constantly new platforms coming. It's just a lot of work. Okay. It's a lot of work. And I think because I came from a background of makeup artistry, the social media side of it for me was not the vibe. I don't know why. I wasn't willing to learn new things. I wasn't willing to try new things. I wasn't willing to expose myself to things that actually inspired and motivated me. I just wanted to sit there in my little pity party and be upset about how all these other people were experiencing tremendous success in the beauty field, but I wasn't, even though I know full well I wasn't willing to do what I needed to do to grow in that capacity. So I just chalked it all up, at the end of the day, to, I just must not be cut out for this. I must not just be social media minded. And sometimes I still think I'm not. My brain doesn't work that way. I don't get excited about social media trends. I don't think I'm really a big trend follower in any capacity. But I guess that's just, the way the cookie crumbles. Doesn't mean I have to do what everybody else is doing. I mean, the algorithm and stuff like that can make it feel that way. But again, I choose whether or not I allow this thing that I love called makeup to stay this thing that I love or become this thing I resent because of the way I'm choosing to utilize it, which again is via social media. Then I feel like I painted myself into a box circa 2019 when I started doing all this anti-haul content, which was fun at first. For me, as a content creator, it was fun to do something different because I had been, for a few years, just doing what I considered kind of the standard beauty content cycle, which is buy makeup, do tutorials, review makeup, favorites video, rinse, wash, repeat. Again, no one told me I had to do that. I did it and then hated it. Didn't take the cue from that maybe this isn't what I should be doing. But anyway, I digress. Whoa, relax, makeup forever. Oh my God. I need to get some darker concealer. I was doing that anti-haul content and having fun with it because it felt like something different. It felt like I was in the beauty arena, but I felt excited, to actually dive into sales psychology and just talk about something different. And it was good for a time, but eventually, and I've said this many, many times, I just felt icky about it. I felt so negative, and I don't feel like that's what I was trying to do. I really was just trying to give food for thought and talk about different things. But after a while, and I truly do believe this is a big reason I just was I don't want to do makeup content anymore altogether. I feel like social media is weird in a lot of ways now versus how it felt when I started. When I started it, again, I was still a professional makeup artist. I just felt like you couldn't tell me anything. In other words, I feel like I knew my shit. And I feel like I still know my shit. I mean, I've been very out of the loop. Like I said, you guys don't even understand how out of the loop I am. I even need you guys, if you don't mind, to leave me some accounts that I should follow on Instagram, YouTube. I don't really want to deal with TikTok, but I guess TikTok too. Very out of the loop. No idea what's going on out there. The only time I ever know about a new makeup launch or collection is if I see it in person at Sephora or Ulta, but that's it. Started doing makeup content. I didn't have this imposter syndrome. I never felt like, what am I going to talk about and why would people listen to me? I just did not for 1 second did I feel like that. As time has gone on, I feel like I've developed that where it's why would anybody listen to me? You know what I mean? Like, I'm not an expert anymore. Why would I get back into this? It literally kind of feels like day one for me in some ways, because I've been so, at least with makeup, hair, skincare, body, I've still been really invested and interested in that. But makeup, I even wear the same like makeup look all the time. And I even think that's part of what my problem is. Like, I even got to a point where the idea of sitting, and this is especially true when the cut crease and like triple cut crease craze was happening. I was like, I am not going to sit down and work on eyeshadow for 2 hours today. Like, I just can't be bothered. I had no interest in doing it. Then I wonder if sometimes, like, much like a relationship, much like any real love that we have, you know, maybe with the exception of your kids, your best friends, your husband, whatever, maybe you go through periods of time with those people and those relationships in your life where they feel stronger, they feel more bonded, and with those relationships, same thing with like a passion or an interest, you're gonna get out of it what you put into it. Maybe that's something to be said here. Because now I kind of feel like I do have a little bit of that imposter syndrome where I'm like, why would anybody want to hear me talk about makeup anymore? Especially when I spent a whole year talking about how, you know, buying it is stupid and you don't need all this stuff and blah, blah, blah. Why would anybody want to hear me talk about it again? But then it's like, maybe another reason that I fell out of love with this is my classic, super annoying overthinking stuff. And, you know, if you watch my channel, you know that I'm very interested in talking about feminine energy and masculine energy. And I think my creative interest in my interest in aesthetics and all that stuff is super feminine. But I think there's this part of me that gets so in my masculine where I have to care. And this is what social media does to you too. Like I said, you have to kind of care. Analytics and how things perform, like that's part of the process, because people can say all they want, like, I just do this for fun, and like I'm sure that's true for some people, but no, you know what, maybe that's true for a lot of people. In fact, that's probably the best attitude to have about it, because once you start being really preoccupied with analytics and growth and all that kind of stuff, it takes the joy out of whatever you're creating anyway. Now, bearing in mind that I did put that blurring primer, pore minimizing primer on before I started, bearing that in mind, I will say I ain't got no pores right now. Maybe there's just a part of me that's coming back to life that just wants to have fun. I just want to feel my way through things and enjoy things and stop just being so worried about everything all the time. It's exhausting. It sucks. I don't know, maybe the solution is I should not go back to watching a lot of makeup content. Although if I don't, it's very hard to have an idea of what people are interested in, what they want to see. But comparison is the thief of joy. It's kind of hard. Like, I watch all kinds of other content that I love to watch because I don't create that kind of content. So I'm not constantly watching this content through the lens of like, what can I do about this? What can I learn from this? What should I do to make my setup look better? How can I make my filming look better? Theirs looks better than mine. Like, da 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 da. Maybe the solution is I just don't go back to watching it, or maybe I only watch it like in a work capacity. So there's like a certain amount of hours a day that I work. So if I'm only going to work for 4 hours today, then maybe I need to fit in like 2 hours of content consumption with the idea that it's work focused and just don't spend any other time watching it, because I used to watch it all the time. All the time. It's pretty much the only thing I ever watched. You guys ever get like such an itchy nose right after you put your like makeup on? It's like right here. You know, I feel like I'm constantly trying to work on myself these days. I think that once I had that mental breakdown last year, it put me in a position where it was like, I kind of have to work on myself or else. You know, I also feel as you get older, you tend to take on maybe a more cynical attitude towards things. Like, I know when I first started makeup, you couldn't tell me anything. Like, in my mind, it was just a matter of time before like world domination. You just have this naivete about what it really takes to go after your dreams. That's why we have so many dreams when we're young children, and maybe they kind of die off a little bit as we get older. You know, we kind of get a reality check or something like that. But maybe the solution isn't like to just completely give up on the dream. It's just to, because like, why would you want to get rid of that pleasure, that joy, that curiosity, that inspiration, that play that comes with the things that you loved when you were a kid? Like, I loved beauty and makeup when I was a kid. I was a very weird child. It's like, why would I let that go? That was a choice. And now I want to make a choice to try to have fun with it again. That's kind of my spiel about all of this. Really want to know what you guys think. Like, have you ever gone through maybe a hard time, lost yourself, and then suddenly like one day you wake up and it's like, you kind of want to, you feel it coming back? Guys, feel free to absolutely inundate me with makeup and beauty content that you want to see, because I have a lot of ideas, but I always want to know what you guys are interested in, of course. And like I said, I don't really know what content people are into beauty related. Like, has it changed that much? Are we still, you know, haul, tutorial, review, favorites video? I don't mind that stuff. Like, nothing wrong with it. I just don't know, you know, what's going on these days. I do still want to continue the feminine energy conversation. I love it. I love talking about it. Like, I feel so interested in it. And again, I want to flow towards what feels good in this social media landscape, not necessarily what's trending or what other people are doing. I just kind of want to do my own thing. So that's not going to stop altogether, but I would like to bring beauty back as well. Like, a good even split, I think, would be ideal. I do know that I have no interest whatsoever of getting in any way invested in. I don't want to like get back into the drama stuff. I don't want to get into arguments on the internet about makeup, because I definitely think that was one of the things that took it away from me. Was I felt like the space was so negative. Like, if you guys remember, I think it was like 2020, everybody was making like the beauty community is trash videos. I just think there was so much going on at one point, and again, I definitely believe I chose to allow this to kind of color this thing I once loved negatively, and I'm not going back to it. I'm just doing what I want to do, and I think like when it comes to life in general, more of us need to go on that journey. There's just so much negativity, again, on the internet especially. Like, it is just the type of content that people seek out, and I am not going back to that. I think one day maybe we'll all look back and laugh on the fact that that was such the way that social media and the internet was used for such a long time. All right, guys, I gotta get out of here. I hope you enjoyed the video. Definitely let me know what you think about everything I said today. Let me know your current favorite beauty products, beauty lines, influencers, YouTube stars, content of any shape, size, and fashion, requests. Like, give it to me, right? So I guess I'll let you guys go, and I'll catch you in the next one. Bye.